the train for one last ride.
From Studio One, welcome to this Wednesday, July the 12th edition of the Ringside Report. I am Ryan Young. Joining me on the phone, as always, the king of controversy, Anthony Smoody. Smoody, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Let's recap Raw. You ready? The fallout from what took place on Sunday night at Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, episode whatever it is. We're in Houston.
Yeah. Big Cass comes out, which I wasn't really expecting him to start the show. He comes out and says, you know what? The same thing he pretty much said. Did you see his promo on the wrap up or the Raw talk after the show, after the pay-per-view?
I did.
And it was pretty much the same thing he did out there. He said, if you're not rooting for me then, don't root for me now, yada yada. Big Show comes out, they brawl. That's how that ends. Finn Balor defeats Elias Sampson, and the Hardys come out and say, you know what, we're not done. But Tony, they were using a lot of words and and it seems like they were a little broken.
Well, the contract with TNA and the lawsuit is over, so I guess they could use whatever they feel like.
Then the Gallows and Anderson challenge them. Gallows and Anderson do beat the Hardys. So do you think the Gallows and Anderson are on their way to possibly a title match?
Oh, I would love to see Gallows and Anderson turn face and actually win the titles over whatever their names are.
And I feel a little underdressed because, of course, it was the Mizzy Awards. And goes back. Tony, you were excited for the Mizzies, weren't you?
Another boring awards show again. You know, it's all about Miz and everything. This is ridiculous.
Well, Dean Ambrose interrupts. Eventually, probably going to lead to another Intercontinental. Also, Seth Rollins helped. But then, I believe backstage, Dean Ambrose told Seth Rollins to not help him. Am I right?
Yeah, he said, you go your way, I go my way. And Seth's like, whatever, dude.
Then Bayley and Sasha Banks get a win over Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. Bayley pins Alexa Bliss. Is she back in line for a title shot?
Well, you know, they've had Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss last time. I think it's time for a change, and yes, have mercy, of course.
Goldust gets a win over R-Truth. Kurt Angle comes out. I didn't even realize Brock Lesnar was there on Monday. He comes out with Paul Heyman. Then Roman Reigns comes out and says he's the #1 contender. Then Samoa Joe comes out and says he deserves to be the #1 contender and get another shot. Well, then Kurt Angle makes the match that'll take place next week. #1 contender, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. Tony, it's got to be Samoa Joe. Or, no, excuse me, Roman Reigns.
No, we're both wrong. It's got to be both of them. See, look at this. We're now in the point of SummerSlam, okay? We're in August. We're heading to August. We're in SummerSlam. We are now halfway to WrestleMania. New Orleans needs to be the bomb, okay? Last night, like I said, two nights ago, Sunday night, I said on our free show, I said possibly Bobby Lashley could come in. We need a champion that is there full-time and everything. Brock Lesnar, he's the greatest champion, but it's time for his reign needs to end. He needs to end it at SummerSlam with a triple threat match. Possibly Joe winning.
Cedric Alexander and Tozawa get a win over Neville and Noam Dar. Tozawa pins Neville. Are we going to get a rematch? Is Tozawa the guy that's going to take Neville off his pedestal?
No, I think...
You know who it's going to be? You know who it might be? Enzo.
It might be something, or it might be, what's his name?
That narrows it down. Who?
Well, it was supposed to be Austin Aries. Maybe Bobby Roode. Depends if he gets called.
He's not a
up.
cruiserweight.
Oh, somebody's got to be.
Enzo.
Oh, Enzo's not a cruiserweight.
Yes, he is.
Bring back Remus.
Anyway, Bray Wyatt defeats Seth Rollins. Tony, the Raw ended with Kurt Angle on the phone. Someone's coming next week. The phone calls with Corey Graves. What is happening? What is taking place next week on Raw?
Well, it ain't going to be any of the TNA members because they're not
Dixie Carter was on the WWE Network, though, on Monday night after Raw.
I think it's going to be somebody. I think it's going to be Stephanie.
I think it's going to be. I think he did say "love you." I think it's Triple H or Stephanie, and I think this is leading to their match at SummerSlam, and I think we're eventually going to get the rematch at WrestleMania.
Speaking of that, Triple H needs to stop worrying about wrestling too much. And he needs to start worrying about the NXT roster because
NXT's doing fine.
He's starting to piss me off with this this wrestling crap. WrestleMania was great and all, and then Royal Rumble won the title, but the last 2 years have been nothing but boring. They need to work and focus on doing what Dusty Rhodes had to do in NXT, is take over NXT and make it bigger, because now with TNA now becoming Global Force Wrestling and Ring of Honor, God forbid, I don't know where, there's got to be something going to happen.
We'll find out. That's Monday Night Raw. We're going to take a timeout. Also, next week, we're going to find out the #1 contender. Tony, do you know where next week's Raw is?
Of course, Nashville, Tennessee.
It is?
Yes.
I love Nashville. God, I want to go back.
Maybe we'll have Sasha Bailey on the bull and do a bull riding competition.
Maybe they'll go to Tootsie's.
Oh, God.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to preview Ring of Honor, NXT Plus, hear about what Mr. El Patron and Paige were up to Monday night. We'll be back. On this date in 1995 or 6 or something, like, Jack Tunney resigned as president of WWF at the time.
Oh, God.
Was he a good president, Tony?
Yeah, he was the president from 85 to 95.
Was he good, though?
He was good, actually. He created two WWE title had to be vacant twice.
He created Hulkamania.
No, that was Vince McMahon.
But wasn't he the lead? Wasn't he the man in charge during the whole Hulkamania?
He was, but
He's dead, isn't he?
yeah, he's dead now and laying in Toronto.
He's buried in Toronto?
Yeah, he's on that fat mayor from Toronto, Canada.
He's dead too, isn't he?
I heard he's dead too. Rob Ford, yeah, he's dead.
Robert Ford?
Yeah, the pot smoking.
No, he was
mayor,
he was the coke smoking or snorting or whatever.
There you go.
Anyway, news over the weekend, Tony, took place. Alberto Del Rio, or El Patron, or whatever name you want to go by, him and Paige had apparently a altercation at the airport. Now, we don't really have all the info yet. TMZ's reporting that he was arrested on a domestic violence or something like that. But apparently it's either between Paige and Del Rio, or it's between Paige, Del Rio, and a fan. Apparently Paige's grandfather or someone passed away or is very sick, and I think they were trying to get privacy or something. Tony, do you have any information on this story?
Well, according to what happened was they're walking the airport, and I guess a fan said something or whatever to Paige and about her grandfather or whatever it was, and just she went off on a tantrum, and Del Rio punched the fan in the face.
Del Rio's a hothead. I heard he's not very. He's not really a guy that you can get along with.
Well, if you don't hear from me July 30, August 1st, whatever.
Jeez, what date are you going to see him?
July 29th, but if I'm not back up July 29th, I'll be in jail probably.
Where's he at?
Midlothian, so I'll be probably Cook County Jail or whatever. Probably, I'll say something wrong.
Smody, I got some breaking news about you live in Lake County, right?
Huh?
Do you live in Lake County?
No, I live in McKenna County.
Oh, you do, don't you? Damn it. Anyway, there's a show I watch called Live PD, and
Oh, yeah.
they're starting on Friday night. They're going to be doing, they go through live counties. They're doing Cook County live, or not Cook, Lake County live.
Oh, wonderful.
They can go to Antioch.
They can go to Antioch. I can see a few people there.
Is Round Lake Lake County?
Yeah, Round Lake's Lake County.
And so's Waukegan. Oh, boy.
It goes from Waukegan to
Antioch.
No, it goes from Waukegan to close to Chicago, like Evanston.
Should be it's interesting, but anyway, side note, gets took off that. Preview for Ring of Honor. Dalton Castle and the boys are going to be in tag team action. Their first match since winning the the six-man tag titles. Are going up against Coast to Coast and Flip Gordon. Ultimo Guerrero going to go one-on-one. Ultimo Guerrero, Tony, what two wrestlers is he combining?
The Ultimate Warrior and Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, I was thinking Ultimo Dragon. He's a Mexican wrestler or Japanese wrestler.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Dragon and Eddie Guerrero was a Mexican.
Or Mexican. Yeah, and then he'll be going up against Matt Taven. Then your main event gonna be War Machine against the Motor City Machine Guns. Let's go move on now to NXT. Last week, we were off, but Bobby Roode retains his title against Roderick Strong. Tony, who's next? Who's getting that title shot at TakeOver?
Let's see.
It's gotta be. Don't you gotta think it's gotta be Drew McIntyre?
It's gotta be, because we haven't seen him because he was in Chicago, in the crowd, and then disappears after that. So,
folks, that is coming up. That'll be, of course, Ring of Honors tonight on. You can watch it on Comet or Fight TV. You can also watch NXT tonight, 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. We're going to take a final timeout. When we come back, as we're going to preview Impact, also recap last week's, as they are on the road to, well, they're not on the road to really anything, but it's the Fall Out of Slammiversary. We'll be back. Oh yeah, welcome back on this day, Tony, 1998. Bash at the Beach, you saw Rodman and Hogan defeat DDP and Malone.
yeah, it was right after the finals of 98. They're tussling on the court, and now they're tussling in the ring.
Smoody, you told me during the break you have 3 announcements. Are these announcements that... What?
No, that was 97. 98 was the Ultimate Warrior was Hogan.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, remember there was a blowout after the main event was supposed to be over for TV, and they cut the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, you're right. I thought that was I thought that was Halloween Havoc.
Oh, that was Halloween Havoc. Never mind that. I'm wrong.
By the way, for all you folks that like the old WWE ECW, every episode, all 140 some of them, are now on the WWE Network.
Yeah, everything's on the WWE Network.
What? Are they ever gonna run out of things to put on there?
I don't know. They got rid of the Chris Benoit thing. The one he was.
I'm waiting for them to start putting like Saturday night, like WCW Saturday night, Sunday Night Heat. They need to start putting on there. Come on.
Yeah. Start putting some good shows on there.
Tony, you said you have some announcements. Or any? Should we wait till after we talk about Impact, or right now?
We'll wait after Impact.
Okay, let's recap last week's The Fallout of Slammiversary. Alberto El Patron and Lashley goes back and forth. Patron, and they're saying we're gonna have the rematch right here tonight, and that's what happens. And that was going to be your main event of the evening. Sanjay Dutt defeats Caleb Conley. VOW, Grado returns, and Eddie Edwards get a win over Eli Drake, Chris Adonis, and a couple other guys. Matt Sydal defeats Braxton Sutter. Super X Cup, a battle of 8 guys. Tony ACH from Ring of Honor, no longer in Ring of Honor, now going to be there. He's now there in TNA, or excuse me, Impact Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much. Some of the Ring of Honor stars are leaving Ring of Honor, going to TNA now.
The first match of the Super X Cup, Desmond Xavier defeats Adias Abraham. Sienna defeats Rebel. And then the Unified World title, El Patron vs. Lashley ends in a no contest. As LAX comes out, they attack Lashley, and El Patron completely annihilated, and Conan announces the newest member of LAX, Alberto El Patron, but he was knocked unconscious. Do you see more to come from this week on Impact?
Oh, I like to say, and the announcers have been forewarned. All 3 of them have been out. No more fighting, no more arguing, or you two will be fired.
For who?
Josh Matthews and Bruce Pritchard laid down the law before the show. Last week he said, if any you 3, including Pope, any you 3 start rumbling, tumbling, or arguing or whatever, like we've done in the past, I'm gonna fire your ass.
Should be, and that's the same thing that RJ Daniels tells me and Beatty every show.
Well, you got the idiot on the microphone that doesn't know what he's doing anyways.
So Impact, that is tomorrow night on Pop TV. Tony, we have about a minute and a half for your announcements. What are they?
Congratulations to Aaron Judd, who won the Home Run Derby Monday night.
Okay.
Whoever won the All-Star game, congratulations. And you two, I guess, saw CM Punk and AJ Lee at the Taste of Chicago Friday afternoon.
Yes, we talked about that on Monday's show. All of a sudden I was going to get some bread pudding, and all of a sudden I look up and I heard a familiar voice that I haven't heard in about 2.5 years, and it was CM Punk and AJ. I did not talk to him, like I said. I'm not one of them people that are going to go up to people and bother them. They're not paid to be there. They're not paid to meet with fans. So I just left them alone.
So, how much more longer do I see that John Cena costume on you?
Well, you're about 10 points behind, so I gotta order that soon. Because of course, folks, the loser of the picks has to go to, and it'll air on our final episode of Ringside Report. The loser's got to dress like John Cena down Bourbon Street.
Just wait. I've got my revenge plan all ready to go for the final episode, and I'm not telling you anything.
And of course, folks, this is number 93. Our 93rd, or we have 93 shows left after today. Do you believe that?
Oh my God, it's gonna be an emotional ride, but hey, we're gonna end it on Bourbon Street somehow.
Or 91. Maybe it's 92 episodes after today. I don't know.
We're taking a vacation again.
Mamma mia. Okay, preview for Friday. We're gonna recap. We have no warm-ups for once. We're gonna recap Ring of Honor. SmackDown 205 Live, Ring of Honor and NXT, plus the newest edition, our newest moment, which for some reason, by the way, happy belated birthday to Scott Beatty on Sunday, and Brandon McGrath, former guy on the Ringside Report. His birthday was yesterday. Speaking of Brandon, he's back on the top moments again as we air his first kiss. Remember when him and we were interviewed by Threat Level Wrestling, and things got a little out of control, but we'll talk about that on Friday, Smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
Love was in the air in Elk Grove Village.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Okay, folks, everyone, we'll see you Sunday, or we'll see you Friday. You can hear I don't have a voice, which is a sign that I'm probably going to be getting sick soon. So for Anthony Smoothie, I'm Ryan Young. Thank you for watching the Ringside Report, your front row seat to all things wrestling.